So I'm from Canada, which is a big thing for most people, living down here in SoCal. But I went to school in St. Catharines, Ontario, so that's near Niagara Falls, which was really nice. It was a great area to get my education. And I studied computer science and economics, but that wasn't always what I studied, so I took 5 years to do my undergraduate because in my first year I was actually an English major. And that was quite a interesting transition, but English turned out not to be for me, so I made that transition, even though I kind of was afraid because I hated math and I was really worried about how I would do in my computer science major, but I ended up doing all right. I had never programmed before I switched into my computer science major, but I had always been interested in computers, so I kind of hoped that my interest in computers would lead me to kind of, I guess, push me in the direction of trying hard enough to learn. And I just learned through classes, a little bit online, but mostly through the instruction of my professors at university. The things that I think made a big difference were working externally for not just working on my class projects and my homework, but I also tried to find extra projects to do just for myself. I would try to think of things that might be interesting to make. I also worked at a startup one summer over university, and that was a big help as well. So this actually segues quite well into how I got started with Microsoft. So we have a program called for Microsoft Student Partners, and that's a program where we allow students to come in and do a little bit of miniature evangelism on campus. So I was a Microsoft student partner, and what that meant was I would occasionally host events on campus. So they would provide funding for things like pizza, they would mail me swag to give out at the events, as long as I delivered a presentation on a certain Microsoft technology or a certain Microsoft offering so that the other students were aware of it. And that in itself is sort of miniature evangelism, and a big part of how I got here is by doing that for a couple of years. And then my boss sort of saw that I was doing well and saw that I was pretty much a fit for the role, and she recommended me to a manager down here in the States. So I am a technical evangelist at Microsoft. So a lot of people kind of hear that title and think, what does that mean? So I'm a technical person, so I am an engineer, but I evangelize on behalf of Microsoft's technology stack. So we work with partners often to deliver proof of concept technology with our kind of bleeding edge services. Then I evangelize that. So a big part of that is sharing it and showing people, look what you can do with what we've created. I think a lot of people don't really consider TypeScript when it comes to their choices for starting a new project. And I think TypeScript is extremely applicable for certain technologies. For example, Electron, you can build desktop applications, and very commonly desktop applications are written in an object-oriented language. So by adding that object orientation into something like JavaScript, you can still use a language that you're very comfortable in, but you also get some added abstractions, which I think can really benefit your application. TypeScript is actually just a lot like any other object-oriented language in that there are interfaces and classes, and interfaces will extend other interfaces or classes, and you can implement them. So the coolest feature would be type annotation, because that helps the most explicitly with managing your code. But there are also a few other features and added types that, like enums. The TypeScript compiler has a setting for which ECMA script you're going to be using. TypeScript is a typed superset of JavaScript, and the big plus is that by using types, you can be a little more explicit about the things you expect in your code, and then you can compile it down to regular JavaScript, so there's very little that it affects in your actual JavaScript, but your TypeScript will be much cleaner generally, and I think that helps make your code a little more performant.
Hey, I'm VJ. I'm the organizer for JavaScriptLA. I wanted to just personally thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, I'd love for you to subscribe to our channel. We're slowly but surely making lots of little video content for you guys to enjoy and soak up, especially if you want to get better at programming. I'd love for you to be on our Slack channel too. Over 800 users. The link is right here, jsjoin, jsjo.in. If you forget, it's really simple. If you have questions for this meetup, or questions you didn't get to ask, or because you couldn't make it, we'd love to have you just post it in our Slack group. So if you're a newbie, don't worry. It's a good place to go. There's a lot of great engineers all connected around LA and Orange County, so I hope to see you there.